Okay, so next up, what we want to do is start bringing in cameras to match the animatic that we had exported previously. So we want to create different cameras for each of our shots here. If I go back to the very beginning, I clearly have one shot at the beginning here where I'm panning to the right. So I've got a bit of a zoom out, zoom in while I'm panning to the right, but then it cuts to a close-up and it cuts back to another pan. That's 3 different shots. So the first pan is shot 1, the close-up is shot 2, and the second pan is shot 3. And I want to make sure that I've got a separate camera for each of those. So back in Maya, let's just do this right away. So I'll just go, I want a new perspective camera, so go Panels, Perspective, New. And that has automatically created a new camera that I'm looking through right now. Another way to do it is to go Create, Cameras, Camera. And you'll see that that's created camera 1 down here. It's super tiny, very hard to see. You can scale that up though, and it won't make any difference in your filming. So if I want to actually look through camera 1, which I just created, I just select that and I go Panels, and you see Look Through Selected here just below Orthographic. So I'll go Look Through Selected, and I'm now looking through camera 1. So there's a couple things I need to do here. First, I have to go to, I need to set up my resolution gate again. Now, a quick way to do that is actually to have camera 1 selected. So I'll just go find my outliner wherever that is now living. So I've got camera 1 selected, and under camera shape 1, which is just this second tab on the attribute editor, and anytime you can't see the attribute editor because you might be looking at the channel box layer editor here, just go Control A and it'll bring your attribute editor back, but you also have these tabs down the right. So I'll just go back to my attribute editor, and if I just scroll down, I've got my display options here. I want to turn on the film gate, the display resolution, and the display safe action. So that should be turning on each of my boundaries. And just to double check, let's make sure that I can actually see all that here as well. There we go. So if I just go View, Camera Settings, and Resolution Gate, I can see that same thing. And once again, everything that's happening within these frames will get rendered. Anything that's happening in the gray space outside of these frames will not get rendered. The other things we want to change on this camera is we want this camera to be to mimic a real-world camera. At the moment, it doesn't. And let me just give you an idea. If I came in here and I changed that film aspect ratio, you'll see that the look of my film or my shot can change quite dramatically. But I haven't actually moved this camera at all. And my film gate, I can jump to a bunch of different resolutions. And and once more, I'm not actually moving my camera at all. And going to an IMAX film gate gives me this intensely warped, almost fisheye view. So what I want to use is the 35mm 1.85 projection, and that pops me in nice and close. I get a fairly accurate render of my character, and it's a good depth on my train. And just look at the difference in depth. If I switch back to IMAX, that train looks so long. The depth is so strange on this. If I move in close to my character, that becomes intensely fisheyed. Whereas if I switch back to the 35mm 1.85 projection, it looks like the kind of thing you might see in film or television. It's got a nice, comfortable depth to it, and it looks realistic. So that's one thing we're going to change. And another one. Let's see. The next thing we want to do is change our film aspect ratio. Right now it's 1.85. We're just going to change that to 1.78. And what that gives us is this very clean camera aperture and in inches. Okay, so that very first shot. So this is camera 1, and just to make absolutely certain that I remember that this is shot 1 later on, I'll go outliner. So we've got camera 1. I'll call this shot 1 underscore. I want to get exactly the frame range. So let's open up this animatic. And shot 1 will go from 0 to, and it's right up until that cut. So it looks like it goes from 0 to 133. So I'm just going to call that shot 1, 0, 133. There we go. Shot 1, 0, 133. So it's super obvious right away exactly what shot it is and the frame range it's going to go through. Now another thing I can do is I just want to make sure that I can definitely see the cinematic while I'm working and capture those camera movements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually load that cinematic or that animatic onto this camera. So I'll go View and Image Plane, Import Image. Now, for this to work, it's really important you're actually looking through your camera. So do make sure that you've got your camera selected in the outliner and you have Gone Panels Look Through selected. So now that I know that I'm definitely selecting that camera, and you can see that my borders have become white, saying, hey, you've got me selected. So I'll go View, Image Plane, Import Image, and I'm going to go find that image sequence. Let's grab that very first image. I'll go Open. And that has created this image sequence in the background here. So down in on that image plane shape, what I want to do is I want to set the display to looking through camera. So I just want to see this image sequence when I look through this one camera. And I want to make sure it says Use Image Sequence. So I will go image number 0. Anytime you lose your little image sequencing, you can just select it again. You can find your image plane here. Select your camera and you see that image plane connected to it in the attribute editor. Okay, so I definitely want image sequence and let's go fit to resolution gate. It looks like it's doing exactly that. You can actually see, if I just scroll out a bit, you can actually see that it's completely filled that resolution gate. So if I were to come in here and then try and get sort of an approximation, like I'm trying to see if that shot would fit in my train. So I want to get about the same angle. So I'm looking down the carriage. I think the benches actually need to not come up so much. And if the character's sitting there with her back to the wall, she would be sort of sitting just back like this. And you can see the next step would of course be me coming in and adjusting my character and trying to get my character to match that image sequence. If I set this to X-ray, it should be way easier to see. So I can see Yolanda just back there. So I can move, I think I need to move much, much closer. And I'm starting to block that out. I'm starting to sort of match it. I'm using a trackball mouse right now, and it's probably not nearly as effective as yours. Pop out a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but you just kind of want to get it as close as you can. Okay, so that's my first camera set up. Let's see. Now, once you have your very first camera set up, I do recommend actually locking it right away because you don't want to accidentally move it. Now, the way to lock a camera, you want to go into the channel box for that camera. So that's just, if you do Control A, you can switch from the attribute editor to the channel box, but it's also one of these tabs here on the right. And I'm just going to select all these attributes on that camera, and I'll go right click and lock selected. So now, if I come in here, I'm trying to move my camera, but I can't. I can't accidentally mess up the work I've just done, which would be great, because having to redo that again would suck. So let me just go check my image plane again and just see if there's any other options I've got to play with here. I definitely don't want it to render in scene. Let's go. Where are my different texture files? I just want to see if I can see through everything. What are you? Alright, that's fine. That would make transparent or not. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, let's go set up the next camera. We'll go create cameras, camera. And because I named the last one, this has brought in camera 1 again. So once more, let's go look through selected. There's my character chilling out against the wall there. I think it's probably actually worthwhile at this point to come in and just actually get her, like, work that pose, actually get her sitting on the seat a bit more, really slouching against that wall. And I probably actually need to move her and the cube back against the wall a lot more. Alright, so since I've moved all that, I am going to have to adjust that camera that I created before. So I'll select shot 0 or shot 1 again. I'll unlock it, so I'll select all those attributes, right click and hold and go unlock. And with shot 1 selected, I'll go panels, look through selected, and I will definitely have to adjust the positioning of that. Okay, so what's happening right now is as I'm moving backwards and forward, all I can see is that image plane. So I want to adjust that. And so I'm going to go back to image plane shape here. And I'm going to just change that alpha gain. I'm going to make that a bit transparent. And let's go find Yolanda. There she is. Okay. So now that alpha gain's actually a bit too transparent, I'd say. Alright. Oh, that's so close. Here we go. I think we just need to change the angle a little bit more. Check that out. We've got the head, the shoulders. That's pretty freaking close. I could probably work the slouch a little bit more. see if I can look down on her just a bit more. I'll work her lower body into frame a little bit more later, and then of course I'll have to bring her arms up, but the head and the shoulders and the wall are pretty much all there at this point. So you can imagine just her holding her arms up, working on her phone. So now that I have readjusted that camera, let's go back and lock that again. Oh, if you think this is dull, just wait. You yourself get to do this. You'll go through, you'll create a new camera, you will figure out that you need to make an adjustment to your character, you'll go update your other cameras. Animation is a lot of starting and stopping and working on different things. Okay, so I'm looking at my new camera now, and same deal as last time. Make sure we've got our resolution gate happening. We've got our safe action. Under camera settings, camera attribute editor. Once again, we are going to change that to 35mm 1.85 projection. And we will again change that to 1.78 for the film aspect ratio. And I'm also going to name that camera. So let's go find out how long that cut lasts. So shot 1 ended on 133, which means shot 2 starts on 134. And it looks like that cut only lasts until 166. So this is 134 to 166. So I'll come in. We will just name that. This is going to be shot 2, 134 to 166. Just double check that I didn't get that wrong. Yeah, no, that's great. Cool. And once again, let's load up an image plane for that. So with shot 2 selected, and I'm looking through shot 2 because I had selected it and went panels, look through selected. I'll go view, image plane, import, import image. And let's just go. You know what? I think I need to actually separate my image files a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up into different shots. So I'll just go shot 1, 0 to 133, and let's move all those JPEGs into there, which means I'm going to have to go update my image plane in Maya. That's fine. So we'll grab that whole sequence, we'll move those into shot 1, and I will create my little shot 2 folder for 134 to 166. And let's grab those. So, first of all, let's go back to shot 1. And it looks like in creating and moving those images, I've destroyed my image sequence. Oh, nope, there it is. So shot 1, image plane shape. And let's just go open folder and actually make sure it's pointing at the new location. So there we go, shot 1, 0 to 133. Let's grab that. And once again, make sure it's use image sequence. Okay. And let's go to our other camera. So shot 2. And the shot 2 is going to need, and we'll just go select shot 2 here in the outliner. And I'll go make sure I'm looking through shot 2. Open up that camera attribute editor. And go image plane, import image. And let's go grab the image sequence from the shot 2 folder. And again, we're going to go looking through camera. Now this one shows up right in the freaking camera, so like totally occludes everything. So I'm going to turn that alpha gain down right away just so I can see through it. And we'll go use the image sequence, so we've got the whole sequence. Fit the resolution gate. And let's go find that frame. So we're looking out that window, and we can just see the edge of the window in this shot. Okay. There we go. I think we're going to want to work on our aim later. Right now I'm just using Maya viewport options to navigate this camera, and those are not the best options ever. Here we go. That's way easier. There we go. I've got the edge of the frame there. Yolanda would just be occluding the edge of the frame on the right, and we would see our goblins in the distance. So I'm happy with that placement. I'll go shot 2, select that camera, go back to the channel box, grab all those attributes, and lock those as well. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to sit through while I create cameras for each of the shots in this sequence, as it's exactly the same process again and again. We would create a camera, we would find out exactly how long that sequence is, so that's 167 to when she jumps out the other side of the train, just before the cut, so that looks like 258. So it's 167 to 258. We would create a new folder here. So shot 3, 167 to 258. I'll just create some little, just make it easier for me to read that later. And we'll just grab all those frames just like last time. There we go. Drag those in. And now that, of course, we've got that camera, we would go shot 3, 167 to 258. And the same deal as last time. We would look through that camera. We would go create an image plane, import the image sequence, grab that whole sequence there. We would make sure that we've gone into camera settings and we're actually looking through the resolution gate so we can actually see exactly the frame of the image that we're going to be rendering. We would have turned on safe action, etc., etc. Anyways, I've got like 8 shots, so you don't have to sit through all that. I will just go ahead and save my master scene, and we can come back when I've done that later.